everyone, and welcome to the No BS Zimbabwe Economic Opportunity and Investment Show. I am your, it's supposed to be and giving back show. Oh, so it's supposed to be the No BS Zimbabwe Economic Opportunity and Investment and Giving Back Show PF, yeah? That's too long. Fine, okay, I'll do it again. No cutting, no way. Welcome to the No BS Zimbabwe Economic Opportunity and Investment and Giving Back Show PF, Zimbabwe's newest comedy show. I'm your host, Matsika. And I don't know how I landed this job because arguably I'm the least funny person in the country. If laughter is the best medicine, then I'd be the worst doctor. And to the show creators, no disrespect, the name is too long. So how about we workshop a shorter version? How about the, the No BS. Okay, that's shorter. Okay, how about the No BS Zim Econ Invest Show PF? No, it doesn't work. Okay, it's a comedy show. Okay, but okay. How about the not so serious economic show PF? Oh, yes, yeah. No, I remember from the interview when I got the job. Yeah. We're serious about investment in the Zimbabwean economy. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie, right? Hoodies mean serious entrepreneurship. Okay, I got you. No worries, no, I'll shorten it. Don't worry. Okay. How about the No BS Show PF? It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It's good. Don't cut. Let's take it from the top, from right there. Coming to you from cyberspace, I am Matsika, and this is the No BS Show PF, where we cover Zimbabwe's economic news with a touch of comedy, focusing particularly on economic and investment opportunities in the country. Think of us as your uncle from the bar who tells stories in exchange for beer. You know, the uncle who rides lions, single-handedly wrestles a crocodile, or wins the lottery, only to lose the ticket somehow. But he always knows when to plant this year's crop. So you listen to him when he says, "Go plant." Our first segment tonight is this now. Yes, this. 65 Harare-based money changers were arrested in April because of the Zimbabwe gold. They were exchanging the gold and the FIU. They weren't exchanging gold. It's the ZiG currency, and it stands for Zim Gold, the new Zimbabwe gold-backed currency. Okay, gotcha. Do any of you actually understand the new currency? Never mind. A few weeks ago, a store I know had its rate at 1480 to 1 ZiG, right? 1480 ZiG to $1. See, misunderstanding. Just this week, the rate was at 1380 to 1 ZiG at the same store. And so you see the currency is actually strong. It's gaining in value. And the strength of this currency is what I think is tripping up Zimbabweans. We're not used to a local currency that is stable, and it's making us unsure of how to treat this cash money. Well, these money changers I was talking about, they thought they understood the ZiG, and it turned out they were wrong. PSA. It's dangerous to be wrong when the government is right, and vice versa. Many more of these money changers were arrested in Bulawayo. In total, 224 illegal forex dealers have been arrested. Apparently, Zimbabwe's gold-backed currency is also a police-backed currency. And right now, the only thing shining brighter than the future of the ZiG is the handcuffs on these money changers. There's so much uncertainty and ignorance when it comes to the ZiG and its rate of exchange. Can a shopkeeper give you change in ZiG after you purchase something in US dollars? If so, doesn't that make the shopkeeper a money changer? I don't know. It seems when it comes to the introduction of this new currency, the sixth currency Zimbabwe has tried since 2008, the Reserve Bank has resorted to strategic ambiguity at times. Now, we all know how that worked out for the Triple C. We can only hope that a currency chabangu does not show up and start recalling notes and coins in circulation. Now, I handled my first Zig note when we were preparing for the show. When you scan the QR code, which is cool by the way, it takes you to the Google business listing for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the RBZ. From there, you can navigate to the RBZ website and go to the Monetary Policy Committee. There you can find downloads of the monetary policy statement, and you can study the document for yourself. I encourage any who can read to download the monetary policy statement and read for themselves. I found it quite sound, and I hope it works, my beloved Zimbabwe. Sometimes you hate people so much, you want them to fail, but their failure means your misery. So why not wish them success, which would also mean an end to your misery. But it might also mean you working hard to help them in some particular way. Okay, back to the money changers. Some of them applied for bail, but they're IOs. See, IOs, I'm glad I know what this one is. Investigating officers. They had come to court to testify. Unfortunately, the IOs were busy with by-elections at the time, and so the bail hearings were postponed to, and I quote, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. That's the Herald, right? Friday, Monday, Tuesday means it might not be happening. There's a rumor that these money changers may not get a trial at all, but they might get a deal. The rumor is entirely speculation, but the deal is that they can have the charges scraped if they enroll in the Titepo School of Ideology. Again, disclaimer here. This is entirely a rumor, good people. Speculation. Banter. But they say that the money changers need to be re-educated so they can understand the importance of a local currency, so they can value the monetary policy and the new path of opportunity which Zimbabwe is now on economically. It won't be a surprise that soon you'll hear the money changers have changed their names to go along with their newfound knowledge and education. Expect names like Comrade Maria Tengeswi, Comrade Maria Buddha, and Comrade Elizwe Lakiwa. We took the liberty of designing business cards for when they get re-educated. Some even suggested that these money changers may get renamed to Comrade Ziggy, right, in succession, becoming mascots for the new currency. And maybe they'll get noticed, like Russ Caleb, who received a car and 27,120 Zig for his song Zig Mari. My wife enjoys the song and it's reggae vibes. And we would have played it here on the show, but we didn't get the... Wait, this just coming in. He did not receive 27,120 Zig. Okay, but it was actually 2,000 US dollars. Is that true? Wasn't he singing Mariangu Huya, meaning he wants the Zig? People. Now all we need is a musician who actually wants the Zig. Not people who sing Mariangu Huya, Begrangu Huya, only for the money to be US dollars. Maybe not a musician only, even a comedy show host who wants it. But we all have double standards, so don't be harping on this, everybody. Say what you want about the new currency. I, for one, hope it works. I am not at all wishing for more suffering for my fellow Zimbabweans. And yes, we are strong people, but the world needs to understand. Just because people get used to their suffering does not mean they stop feeling it. We are feeling it, and we're hopeful it will end. May the Zig be that bridge to better. I'll leave you with some words from Eddie Cross, who hopefully understands the new currency better than the rest of us.
If they manage this currency right, there is no fundamental reason why the Zimbabwe currency should not be amongst the strongest in the region. You have lots of examples. Botswana, the currency is stronger than South Africa. In Zambia, the currency is stronger than the South African rand. And in Mozambique, the currency has been stable for a long time. Our currency could quite easily be amongst the strongest in the region because our economy is much bigger. Our balance of payments is fairly strong at the moment, and we have a fiscal surplus. So there's no fundamental reason why they should print money. I think the new governor understands that completely. He's a banker. He's been running his own bank for the last 21 years. And I think he has both the political support and the understanding to actually manage the new currency right. You mentioned that it had appreciated in the first 2 days. That is true on the formal market, but in the informal market, it's actually already trading at a discount. So I think it's...
Moving on. Our main story tonight is about investing in goats in Zimbabwe. You know, these creatures who find this show funny. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't share an authoritative view to kick off this topic. So we go to the president's words of wisdom, the vice president's words of wisdom.
Ndokuuya nekatriple C zvikanzi regai mukomana ambopinda achipinda kupi kwake ndiko kunofudza mbudzi.
Kwake ndiko kunofudza mbudzi. Now, some might translate that to he needs to go herd goats or be a goat shepherd, which honestly wouldn't be the worst career move considering the current state of the economy. Actually, goats might be one of the best investments in Zimbabwe right now. Even Daddy Hope is a goat breeder. And he had this to say about Boer goats and goat meat production. So we'll just show you the tweet right there. Let's unpack that tweet, okay? So since 2016, Maserati, which is a great name. There's another goat I know that's very prolific. His name is Drogba, and we'll talk about that later. So Maserati gave Daddy Hope thousands of goat kids, and Daddy Hope's friends and other farmers also benefited from Maserati's prolific prowess. A goat of Maserati's quality can mate with 80 does a month. Don't try this at home. Maserati was an investment, not a goat to eat, says Daddy Hope. Each male goat born is sold for $500 at 6 months old. Females are sold for $450. We need some gender equality there. Goat farmers work on it. So Boer goats sell for much higher than the $30 average Mashona goats, right? $450, $600 compared to $30. Boer goats ordinarily, apparently, give you 3 goats per each pregnancy. They deliver twice a year, and that is 6 goats per year per female Boer goat. So for farmers, goat meat farmers, it means more goats per pregnancy. Also, each pregnancy at 6 months old, when the goat is born, is sold for more money. So it sounds like a great investment to get a Boer goat. Maserati also weighs 140 kgs. The Mashona village goat weighs 20 kgs, hence the $30. If you mate Maserati with the Mashona goat, the offspring you get weighs 70 to 80 kilograms. In other words, you get an extra 50 kgs per each pregnancy if you buy a Boer goat. Now here we go at scale. 200 Mashona females with a Boer goat, male Boer goat. You will get 16,000 kilograms of meat. This is a really good number. The No BS Show PF will crunch some dollar amounts here to make you excited, right? So if you get 16,000 kilograms a year, and if 1 kg of meat goes for $1, that's 16,000 US dollars. It's a multi-currency system, don't worry, it's all right. Numbers like these are enough to make anyone with a bit of capital excited about goat meat production. 16,000 US dollars. But that's the challenge. In our research for this piece, one person warned of a potential goat market, meat market flood right? You see, Zimbabweans are great at catching on to trends. The problem is that everyone jumps in at once, which drives prices down faster than a politician's approval rating after a scandal. Not that scandals do anything in Zimbabwe, but you get my point. Remember when Mapostoli were going to Botswana and everyone's uncle was becoming a Mapostoli and going to Botswana? How about when everyone was flying to the UK? It was a craze back then, it's been a craze recently. The next was people leaving for South Africa. In all these places, Zimbabweans flooded and deportation started. But the challenge isn't deportation. It's that wages of the people in those countries and the Zimbabweans who were going there, wages dropped. As the jobs became precious and the employers knew you would not quit even with low pay or poor treatment, since there were many Zimbabweans waiting in line for the same job. Okay, how about second-hand clothes from a bearer? Now my bearer have flooded the market. You see, the problem is not the flooding of the market. The problem is that when you flood the market, you drive prices down, making it difficult to make a good profit. A good example is borehole drilling. It used to be $5,000 for 40 meters just 2 years ago. Now it's about $900 for the same 40 meters. This is great for the consumers, but not so great for the business people. And this show is for you, the business people, the ones who want to make Zimbabwe great again, whether you're in Zimbabwe or in the diaspora. So the question is, how then do you keep these profits high? We're here to help you. This aspiring goat herder will shepherd you a little bit on this topic of keeping profits high. It's time to unpack the goat market. Let's do this. For starters, just because there's a risk of flooding the goat meat market doesn't mean there is no opportunity here. There's one, in fact. The international goat market has exploded from $6.9 billion in 2017 to $8.6 billion in 2022. That's right, folks, the world has gone goat crazy. Apparently, someone finally figured out that they're tastier than chicken. Not only that, Zimbabwe's domestic goat market is currently unfulfilled. In other words, there's more demand for goats than there are goats themselves. It's like a scene at a bower on a Saturday night. Everyone's looking for a good time, and there just aren't enough goats to go around. I mean, greats of all good times to go around. Due to a high local demand for goats, local farmers in Zimbabwe have long been encouraged to produce more goats. Speaking at an Indaba last year, 2023, Goat Breeders Association chairperson Sifiso, whose last name I don't want to butcher on this show, was inviting goat breeders to think of the potential for export as well as meeting domestic demand. Here she is at the Indaba.
Due to the high demand for goat meat locally, farmers have been tasked to increase production. Farmers are currently battling high demand for goat meat, coupled with a growing goat mortality rate. With the national goat population set at between 3 and 4 million, the figures farmers say cannot sustain the growing market demand. Speaking at an Indaba, Goat Breeders Association chairperson Sfiso Abetoroka encouraged farmers to tap into the international market as well as adequately supply local demand.
On getting ourselves prepared for the export market. In my experience as a goat breeder, one of the first things that aspiring goat breeders and existing goat breeders is always the question, what is the potential for export? We have assembled a panel of experts who will walk us through the journey of what could or should be done in order to achieve our objective to be one of the biggest goat breeders and goat producers and exporters in Africa.
And get this, I'm not the only one seeing this opportunity. Even the Zimbabwean government has recognized there's money to be made here with goats. And if we can trust our government about anything, it's them knowing where the money will be made. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The presidential goat scheme has been taking advantage of these market gaps to help the Zimbabwean people achieve Vision 2030 through increased goat production. In 2022, the program had managed to distribute goats to about 4,400 households, which resulted in a 14% growth in production, from 4.2 million goats in 2021 to 4.8 million goats in 2022. There was a goal then in 2022 to distribute a further 632,000 goats. Many families in Matabele North and South benefited from the scheme, according to the Chronicle. In late 2023, His Excellency commissioned a National Goat Genetic Improvement Center at the Bindura University of Science and Education, BUS. I've long found that acronym weird. BUS. It sounds like shortening the word abuse to BUS. I find shortening things is my forte, you know. For example, sentence. Alan was a victim of abuse in the comments section. That's too long. Too many R's in that one. Alan abused, too many. But shorten it to Alan was a victim of BUS in the comment section. It's better, right? It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? But I digress. The government is in this for the long haul, people. You can hope that part of these genetic studies go beyond the meat production to other goat stuff. What goat stuff, you ask? There are over 100 goat breeds in the world, each with its own special talent. Each goat is like a small factory with its own small special talent. Some specialize in meat production. Some goats specialize in meat production. Other goats specialize in milk production. And a select few are known for their luxurious cashmere coats, perfect for those who want to go feel fancy whilst tending to goats. This is the other stuff. So to clarify, you can raise goats for 5 different reasons. You can raise goats for milk. You can raise goats for meat. And then things get a little interesting. We're talking about having multiple kids at once. Perfect for those who like a full house, but not the screaming kind, the bleating kind. This is about raising goats as a breeder, intending to sell to other breeders so they can have multiple kids per pregnancy. There's also fiber, right? Goat fiber, which sounds fancy, but let's be honest, nobody wants itchy goat underwear. But there you have it. You can raise goats for fiber. And lastly, you can raise goats for their leather. These are the choices a goat farmer can make when deciding to go into goat farming. But the goat industry is not confined to these 5 activities alone. Now, I'm not a goat market expert, just trying to show you where the investments are. But I'm happy to shepherd you through all the other goat-related opportunities available in Zimbabwe. It's the No BS Show PF after all. Economic and investment opportunities. A few weeks ago, I spent some time with some urban goat sellers in the city of Harare. One of them was complaining about the challenge of transportation of the goats from Zarabani to Harare, which is one of the places that they get the goats. It dawned on me that there was a logistics opportunity here if only I had a truck. While I was there, I saw a very sad scene. So this poor little bird, tangled in plastic. Come on, people. Let's get with the recycling program. These feathered friends deserve a better fate than becoming a goat seller's accidental lunch. So let's get our trash recycled. Yes, you. I'm looking at you, Westerners and Triple C people. Because these birds are migrating from your countries and bringing your recycling challenges here. Anyway, back to the goats. So yes, there's a logistics opportunity here. We're talking goat transportation and logistics because let's face it, these furry things don't exactly fit in your Uber or InDrive. So you can provide transportation for goats, complete with connections to the vet and police for clearance, making you a preferred transporter of goats. When I was watching these goat people, goat sellers, I noticed they slaughter goats in the area. They provide this service for an additional $5 to the purchase price of a goat. So there, You can provide slaughtering services, also known as building an abattoir. You can even have a mobile abattoir because convenience is key. Call it from farm to feast on wheels. We'll take care of the dirty work. There were tons of goat skins in the sport where these guys slaughter goats. I wondered how I could grab all these free goat skins and turn them into money. So I whipped up my phone right there and I began researching goat leather processing. It turns out goat rugs and goat leather have a kind of premium, even though the leather isn't as thick, as a Zimbabwean skin. We're resilient people, I tell you, very resilient. But the goat leather still works for several products. Or did we say international market somewhere in this show? Well, there are freight forwarding opportunities on the international scale. In other words, the goat industry in Zimbabwe is not simply confined to raising goats for meat consumption. No, you can raise goats for milk production, which can be processed into goat cheese and goat soap and so on. You can raise goats for their genetics, so you can sell them to other goat breeders. You can raise goats for their fibers, right? You can also supply logistics and transportation services on a domestic and international scale. You can provide slaughtering services. You can rent land to a goat farmer who has access to capital and inputs, while you have access to land. You can sell goat implements like animal food and goat plants like alfalfa for pasture and so on. You can provide goat education services to would-be goat farmers. We're not talking calculus, but the basics, like how to avoid getting head-butted, for example. A very, very important skill, if you can tell. You can partner with the government and help supply the 600,000+ goats to villages. And you can even design a goat game, like this here goat simulator. Watch out, a goat with a jetpack. Jetpacks. So you think that's a ridiculous game, right? And it is ridiculous. One of the main features is actually the game's glitches. People love Goat Simulator glitches. But the game has actually grossed over $24 million since its release in 2014. And the game creators apparently earned about $7 million, right? Goats earn money even when digitized. So get your game going. Now, some people scoff at the whole Zimbabwe is open for business mantra. And hey, I get it. Running a business here is like navigating a jungle full of political twists, economic wars, and social surprises. It's basically pastel on steroids. But which country doesn't have pastel forces exerting pressure on its businesses? Which country doesn't have political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal challenges affecting businesses? Refusing to invest in your Zimbabwe, refusing to invest in our Zimbabwe simply because of its many challenges is like refusing to walk because of gravity. Look out there. Some people are walking around, and Usain Bolt is even running. Now, I'm not saying you won't fall. Neither am I saying it'll be easy, but challenges are a part of life. That being said, don't just jump into goat farming head first. This isn't diving school. Remember those statistics from Daddy Hope about having 200 Mashona goats and ending up with 16,000 kilograms of meat? Well, for starters, having 3 kids per pregnancy is actually an anomaly. It's very common for bull goats, but still rare. Also, remember we calculated and said if it's $1 per kg, that's 16,000 US dollars. That calculation is exciting, but it leaves out the Zimbabwean average of a 65% pre-weaning mortality rate for goat kids. This is the national average, so some do better and others worse, but it generally means a lot of baby goats don't make it. So cut out 65% of that 16,000 kgs and you're left with 5,600 kgs or $5,600, and that's a more realistic cash value. It's said for the goats and the farmer, but that's the average mortality rate. So don't get emotionally attached to your goats until they're past the weaning stage. Think of it as Darwinism, goat style. Also, many people start their goat farming before they know where they're gonna sell their goats and goat products, making it a challenge for them to get value for their goods. You find some farmers offloading their goats at giveaway prices because the markets are too far. So do your research before you invest your hard-earned cash. Nobody wants to be knee-deep in goat tears. So to recap, there is a goat opportunity in Zimbabwe. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Even Matsika has joined the fray. Here's how to stay afloat in the goat game. Choose your niche. Do you want to be a bleating heart breeder, a milk maestro, or maybe a leather lord? Pick a niche, but do your research. Don't be that guy selling goats at a discount because you have nowhere to take them. And be ready for the challenges. Gather your capital and then start. And lastly, never forget goats are adorable, like ridiculously cute. Look at this. Goat kids frolicking in a goat enclosure. So even if your business plan goes out of belly up, at least you'll have some cuddly companions. This is the No BS Show PF. Thank you for watching. Oh, I'm Alan Matsika. Oh, okay. This is the No BS Show PF. I'm Alan Matsika. Thank you for watching.
Mbuzi fully mixed in water.